everybody. Welcome back to the Paris Procopis Show. And I hope I'm not talking too loud. This is, oh my goodness, I'm getting a lot of comments here. We got Dawn. Hello, Dawn. How are you? You read that too fast. You said Golden Greek. You did say Golden Greek. I'm full of gold. Hilario, it's about time. People, a 2-hour show. Oh my goodness. I don't know if my special guest will be up for that, but we shall see. We know when conversation proceeds. Christopher Lawrence, the Greek fleet is back. And even David King is interjecting. All right. And the ever famous DJ Paris Procopis, my brother from the same mother out in the wonderful state of Florida. Can you give us your governor, please? Please, please. All right. I'm not dead yet. I'm feeling much better. Yes, bring out your dead. It's all a question of weight ratios. Well, tonight, thank you for this, I guess, re-inaugural Paris Procopis Show. I haven't been on the air for quite some time, and I got a little, kick in the butt by my guest here who wanted to come on, and we would like to have some conversations about what's going on in Wisconsin. There's a lot going on right now, folks, and we are in the midst of some pretty interesting battles around the country for sure. And it's parents beginning to fight back to take their school boards back, to take their cities back, their city councils back. The pressure is mounting. And it's just ordinary people accomplishing extraordinary things. And here to talk about it with me is someone who comes from the Waukesha County Republican area, from WisRed. Let's welcome to the show, Chris Slinker. Yeah, yay! We got applause, everything like that. So, okay, that's kind of cheesy, but hey, that's all right. So, welcome, Chris, to the show. I appreciate you reaching out to me, and I know you've been wanting to get the message out to people about what's going on. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like tonight, there's something very big happening in the Menominee Falls area, right?
Yes, actually, I just found out the resolution passed 5-2. So there was a resolution tonight that Trustee Steve Taggart and Trustee Paul Tata proposed, and it was because of Biden's mandate, his vaccine mandate for 100 employees or more. That also affects governments who have 100 employees or more. So these two trustees went ahead and wrote a resolution in the attempt to say that they're not in favor of this mandate, and that they were not going to follow the mandate, and that they were going to support those businesses in Menominee Falls as well as the government by not following the mandate, whether they had 100 employees or not.
Wow. So in this pass, so they're not complying with the mandate.
It literally just passed within the last 5-10 minutes. I just got the message.
All right.
So it passed. It passed on a 5-2 vote. What's interesting is we have a 4-3 conservative majority on the board. So all 4 conservatives voted, and as well as one squishy or one lefty voted along with us on this, obviously. But no surprise. The village president of Menominee Falls, Dave Glasgow, who is a liberal, who even by his own admission in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel today said that 70% of the contacts that he had in his email or via phone, 70% were in favor of the resolution, yet he voted against it today. And of course, Tim Newman, classic wolf in sheep's clothing,
Newman
acted like he was a conservative.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Just the type that you want to get him. Yeah, he's that type. And of course, he voted along with his best buddy and seatmate, Dave Glasgow, against it tonight. So they have become liberal champions of the left, and they continue to be so. However, they lost tonight, so a very good victory for WisRed, a very good victory for liberty and the conservative cause.
That is good to know, and it's nice that one of the what you call squishy, because when you look at this, shouldn't be a Republican Democrat issue, or a liberal conservative issue. This is just basic. I mean, it's constitutional rights to
Right.
to have a mandate pushed down from on high to comply, or else. Or, now we got to run around like, 1930s Germany. Hello, I need to see your peppers. I know.
Right, right.
I know you're
Well, they've
typically
already
not supposed to
started
do that reference.
Yeah, well, they've already started that, and obviously they've started to demean companies that have 100 or more employees, or governments that have 100 or more employees, and are forcing this vaccine on these people. And they're literally saying that if they don't do it, they will lose their job. So this is a big battle when it comes to liberty, and I'm very pleased that in Menominee Falls this resolution passed within the last 15 minutes.
Right. So I wonder if there's no way to appeal that type of decision, is there?
Well, one of the members of the village board who voted for it would have to renew the vote or bring it up again, which they would have the right to do. But I don't foresee that happening.
Yeah.
But even if they did, remember, we have a very slim 4-3 conservative majority on the Menominee Falls Village Board. And
So all four voted.
yeah.
Unless, well, then again, we saw that in Waukesha after a second vote. See, I remember, before I get to that, but after this had to have been, this was during the recall stuff and all the chaos. The city of Wauwatosa had just they had finished negotiating new union contracts, and then they were going to negotiate contracts, but the board voted unanimously to not tackle the contracts until Act 10 was settled. So, and that was it, or so we thought. And then about 2 months later, one of the board members requested that it be brought back to a vote. And they tried to do it, and it ended up passing. They actually ended up requiring that we move forward with union contracts, but it was like a 5-4. Well, it was a much bigger, because we have I think it's 16 seats or whatever.
Right.
Thank goodness the mayor vetoed it, and the mayor, they couldn't override the veto. They didn't have enough.
Right.
So, but
Right.
now
So I mean, the situation you're talking about could happen. That fifth vote, who is someone who we do not consider a friend, although we were very.
Oops. Uh-oh. You've muted yourself. Hello. Looks like we are having some technical difficulties. Let's see if we can get that on there. Well, this is the way it goes. The show. We'll see if we can get him back. In the meantime, I will pull him on here. So we were talking about, he'll log back in, but we were talking about the city of the Waukesha School Board a few weeks ago. So I'm going to add him to the right room here. Whoop, I'm not hearing you. There you go. There you go.
All of a sudden I was missing.
Yeah, all of a sudden you were just gone. So we were just on the subject of the Waukesha School Board vote here. Yeah. It was a school board vote that, was it unanimous? No, it was unanimous, wasn't it?
Yeah, it started out as a unanimous vote on the Waukesha School Board about the school lunch program. And the reason that the school lunch program, if you listen to the regular media, it almost makes it sound like the school board just took away free lunches for people who were hungry. The reality of it is that this program, there are several programs. The Waukesha School Board opted to renew themselves into the county program, I believe. And the county program was essentially a program that fed students who were in need, or kids who were hungry, who parents filed for it. In the case of the federal program creates lunches for every child, whether they're going to eat it or not. And what was happening is large amounts of food waste was happening. in the school district. Kids were being handed lunches on their way into school and throwing them right in the garbage right after they got inside, not eating the food. So the school board decided in a unanimous fashion that this was a wasteful thing and that they would revert back to the program that was a county provided program, I believe. And that program now is going to be reverted because the leftists have used this as an issue to act as if the mean conservative school board doesn't want kids to eat food. But again, the leftist mission of let's lie, fake it till we make it style is seeming to work there, although it's very tight. I was very proud that a lot of the school board members who were on the side of reason continued to vote to not go along with this federal program. Nevertheless, it's another one of those small battles that seem to happen every week.
Oh, yeah, and they seem to be haunting us everywhere. Well, yes. Now, one thing that happened when in the last official school board elections in Oconomowoc, most recently, what was this, last April, wasn't it? Right. The conservatives gained or got a really good majority. Even one of the ultra liberals got removed from the school board, and there were a couple of liberals left. They got upset and picked up their marbles and went home, so to speak. They decided to quit.
Right. Actually, no, you're right. In Oconomowoc, the school board was actually run by the liberals up until April. And even after April, a lot of people don't know that. Even though we won all 3 seats and we unseated one of the liberals, it still was a liberal majority board by 1 vote, even after April. We won. Yes, we won convincingly. However, the Liberals still had a 1-seat majority. The interim superintendent, who doesn't have the greatest resume from the political standpoint, from our viewpoint, however, cautiously, I wouldn't say cautiously supportive, cautiously accepting of this superintendent, actually did the right thing. And we commend this superintendent in Oconomowoc. And that action is what really caused the 3 liberals to resign. And they did. They got their red wagons and they sobbed the whole way home. And they gave up their majority because I think the writing was on the wall that Oconomowoc has had enough. And they are going to elect a board that represents the citizens of Oconomowoc and no longer deal with what we have dealt with for years, are leftists sneaking on these boards because of the inattention of conservatives.
Yeah. Well, we see that now the election, there's the election for this school board is Tuesday.
Yeah, no, actually there's an aldermanic race tomorrow. So there's tomorrow, a special election in District 3. District 3 is just on the south end of Oconomowoc. And there was a conservative that did resign due to family obligations. And when he resigned, a special election was called. And that special election is tomorrow. And there is a pitted conservative versus a liberal in that race. Conservative is Chris Douglas. He's a police officer from Elm Grove who lives in Oconomowoc. And then the mayor's hand-picked choice, by the way, the mayor of Oconomowoc is a liberal. And he handpicked his personal friend to run, and that is his name is Scott Carter, and he is who the race is against tomorrow. So Chris Douglas or Scott Carter, but Chris Douglas is the candidate that we are supporting.
Is it what's the balance there right now in a council?
The council right now has got a slight conservative tilt. This seat, by a seat or 2. One of the problems we're having throughout the state is there are a lot of people who identify as Republican or conservative, but are squishier on these local votes than what we'd like. In Oconomowoc, there are a few of those, but we're solidifying our control of the board, in my opinion. This race tomorrow is essential because we're defending a seat that a hardcore conservative had resigned from. And it's another test for us in Oconomowoc. We did very well last April. This gives us another opportunity to see if we can continue on that route.
Oh, well, I hope so. I hope it's
Yeah,
a sign of things to come in the future as well.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, Oconomowoc is one of those communities. There are several in Waukesha County that have been plagued by this liberal scourge of control, even though their voters don't feel that way. And usually it's because in April, you only get a 17% turnout. And the left vote seems to come out much more heavily in the Waukesha suburbs regularly than the conservative vote. So one of the jobs that we have been doing is making sure that our conservative vote gets out in every single April election, every single special, and shows up to board meetings to voice their opinion on issues like the resolution in Menominee Falls tonight. We're just the wing of the majority voice in this county, and we're going to ensure that that continues.
Well, we wish you had people that work as hard as you guys do in Waukesha County as have them working around the state. Unfortunately, it's not
Yeah,
the same.
right. We're working on it, step by step.
And we're again, somebody sent me a funny message. Every once in a while, I get something that's distracting. I can't do that. I can't repeat it. Um, so let's see what else. There's a election. Pewaukee. There's something coming on in
Yeah,
Pewaukee.
so in Pewaukee, kind of a dire situation. The Liberals do control the school board in Pewaukee, as many school boards throughout the county, believe it or
Wow.
not. And you think of Waukesha County as a bastion of conservatives, and it is. However, our local boards just aren't that way. Now we've made a great stride in the last election. We won 80% of our elections that we ran. In last April's election, we hope to hit that same number or better this April. But the Liberals still control quite a few boards. And in Pewaukee, for example, the Liberals have now, there's a resignation on the school board. And they timed it in a way so that the Liberals still have the controlling vote. So there will be an appointment. There won't be an election in Pewaukee. I know there's numerous candidates who've already applied. The deadline is on the 28th of September, and I believe they're going to select their appointment in the beginning of October. We'll see what happens. We're not very hopeful, but I guess there's a chance. We'll see. We're going to try anyways.
Well, we're hearing some rumblings of some recalls around the state and stuff like that, like at Mequon, and obviously
Right.
we don't have an update on that yet because it's still ongoing. But do you know of it? I know of one down in Kenosha, but do you know of any others in the state?
Well, there's a lot of talk. I mean, every day we get emails from people who are interested in recalling, and the recall process is difficult. It's not easy, and the timing of these elections are very difficult. So, believe it or not, there's a handful of recalls we've even suggested not go forward because they're either up this April or their
Oh
term
yeah.
hasn't allowed us to have a recall yet. So I would say in the instance of Mequon, they've done a fabulous job, and I hope and pray that they can get those names of all the people who signed the recall and get them to the polls. It's a big process. We understand.
Hmm.
We would love to lend some help if there's nothing else going on here, but it seems as if Waukesha County has always got something that we're working on, and we have such a great group of people, and we can surgically strike on all of these races. So that's what we're doing. And we will lend our support and help to the Mequon race, though I just don't know exactly where they're at. But I do know they did get about 5,000 signatures, which is a huge, huge thing for a city the size of Mequon to get that many people to sign. So
Well, if they, especially the houses are like very far apart, so going the house
so
to house is
most
more
yeah,
difficult. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. Mequon has some big houses far apart, and it's not easy to get that many signatures in a community like that. Yeah, that's for sure.
yeah.
Let's
It's
hope
always
it goes
said,
better than the California recall. But
oh,
I think that Mequon is a much more traditionally conservative place, more of a quiet conservative place. But these parents are fed up, and the amount of people that you're meeting and seeing at these events that are new is pretty astonishing, and that's great.
I hope it translates into wins. And I'm not, you know, we want balance in these cities, not you know, when the left wingers take over, they want this huge shift to the far left.
Yeah.
They don't, they, they, and they go where angels fear to tread. They don't things that don't even matter to a small municipality. They go after it. Like Wauwatosa tried to make Heather Cool. She tried to make Wauwatosa a sanctuary city. It's
Yeah.
like Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Are you kidding me? Really? Does that you
Oh
shouldn't have
yeah.
even had a vote on it? Well, they didn't,
Yeah.
but
Thank you, Heather, for being such a wonderful. No, no, they're bringing their extremism in every inch of government, and on the local level, there are two different types. There are the types that are the agitators, and then there's the types that are quiet supporters. Unfortunately, there are too many former Republicans that are part of those quiet supporters. Tonight's an example. Menominee Falls Village President Dave Glasgow claims to be a conservative, claims to be a Trump supporter, but yet voted against the resolution tonight. Tim Newman, who has a long history in Menominee Falls and claims to be a Republican, claims to be a conservative, voted against the resolution tonight because why? And, and this is a track record of one continuous thing. In Brookfield, an alderman just proposed the well, it failed. Don't worry. Don't cover your face. It
okay.
failed already. Of course, this gerrymandering baloney that the Democrats profuse and exclaim as some sort of secret mission of the Republicans to weirdly draw districts to blank them out. Although anybody rational be able to see a map and see that the heavy Democratic population cannot be skewed, and it's very heavily concentrated. Therefore, districts are drawn based on geography, not based on population from that standpoint. So it's a very rational thing.
And
Nevertheless, the Brookfield alderman proposed this. It failed in committee. We were very supportive of the failure. And then, of course, another one was very active in trying to make all this noise related to the BLM stuff and some proposal, and just they're off the deep end on the local level as well.
well, I've been on a hiatus as far as my activism goes. Just a lot going on, and
Welcome
I,
back.
yes, I left Wauwatosa to get away from this stuff. But anyway, but doesn't mean I'm not still fighting for Wauwatosa. I still have 30 years of my life invested there, so I'm definitely okay. Now I'm showing
My
my
first
age.
my first house was in Wauwatosa as well. 84th and Hillcrest is where my first home
Oh,
was.
really? So we're all almost neighbors.
Yeah, not
So,
anymore. Now I'm back in the falls, of course. Very happy, especially
very
tonight.
happy.
Very happy that I'm back in
Now, if they
Menominee
can do
Falls.
something about that Germantown school board, or school board president, yeah. Now, how about you? One you'd mentioned Arrowhead. How about Arrowhead? What do you hear in Heartland?
Yeah, so in Arrowhead, we had a very embarrassing situation. The school board, which does have a liberal tilt, and again, you would assume that Arrowhead, Lake Country, conservative bastion area where Trump gets almost 70% of the vote, would have a liberal leaning school board, but that is the case. A member of the school board, the president, in fact, resigned. And upon his resignation, the school board was then a tie, a 4-4 tie, I believe it was, a four vote to 4 vote tie of conservative versus liberal. They announced the appointment to fill the seat, and only one person applied in time, and that was a conservative. Once that one person applied, the interim school board president, who is a leftist, decided to extend the period of applications because he said that the superintendent made a mistake. Upon allowing the extension of the applications, surprisingly, more candidates applied.
Oh, who'd
What's
have thunk
really
it?
what's really interesting about this, though, what's really interesting about this soap opera is that the liberals who then applied back down due to pressure. And it was back down to just our one conservative applicant, Julie Wold was her name. And then last minute, out of nowhere, a very strange thing happened. Another person applied in the last 5 minutes before the deadline. That person has a conservative track record, but the process in which she applied was very questionable and very strange. The board voted, they voted, four voted for the conservative, four voted for the new gal, and it kept becoming a tie. The school board president, the leftist, if you can imagine, magically decided that he could break the vote because he was just president of the board, right? That was shot down. And then, much to our dismay, one of our squishies decided to switch their vote from the conservative to the liberal just to break the tie and end the meeting. So we are now seated with a new member of the school board in Arrowhead who we'll see. I mean, the jury's out. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. However, the process in which we got there shows that they want to handpick who these successors are. And the fact that we had a citizen who applied on time, followed the rules, and then was essentially her rights were taken away as a citizen of her school district, and she wasn't selected when she was the only person who applied. It's a really sad situation. We're dealing with situations like this around the county daily.
Oh my gosh, that's just school boards are nonpartisan elections. Yes, there's no such thing as nonpartisan.
Not anymore. Not anymore. It's become philosophical. Rather than partisan, it's become philosophical. And you have the divide is liberal versus conservative rather than Republican versus Democrat. Even more so on school boards than anything. And actually, school boards are where we need the most attention.
And definitely, that's part of one of the reasons I chose to leave Wauwatosa is because of the toxic Wauwatosa school board. And one of the liberals on there, very nice guy, but I don't want him on the school board, because I actually think he's heavily misguided. I think he just does what he's told.
Yeah. Well, you bring up a good point. That's how a lot of these boards have been elected, because people on these local areas say, well, I'm in a conservative area. That's my friend. I trust my friend. They're my neighbor. I'm going to elect them, and I'm not going to pay attention. And that's what's happened over the years is we've allowed too many people with the wrong views, and we've allowed staff, village managers, city managers, superintendents to run these meetings in a way where they almost act like they're the elected official. And the elected officials haven't done their homework because they're underpaid and haven't spent enough time to really focus on the issue, and no one from the citizenry has made any noise about it. So they just let it go. And we've dealt with that for years now, but that's what we're at WisRed's trying to fix that.
Well, and we will. I mean, ultimately we will. I believe the tide's turning, and we're seeing a lot of that. And it's not, in the biggest lie that the liberals are perpetuating. Oh, they just want everything a hard right agenda in schools and stuff like that. No, we want politics out of schools. It shouldn't be political. There should reading, arithmetic, and science, and all that stuff, all the stuff they're supposed to learn. They don't need indoctrination. We're not able to compete around the world because they spent way too much time focused on, who's offended by the wrong pronoun and all this stuff. In Wauwatosa, they got rid of in 8th grade, they got rid of the reading hour. They get reading hour once a week. They got rid of it so they can focus on LGBTQ issues. That was what it focused on. And I'm sorry, it's like they're 13 years old.
Yeah, right.
They'll figure that out. But
yeah. Can we just get back to basic, teaching?
Like reading,
right? or math. I mean, I dread to think what they teach in some of these science classes or history classes. It's just it's frightening. However, in Waukesha, just last meeting after the school lunch meeting. The next meeting, and I don't know if you heard about this, the superintendent had made a decision to remove all political signs from all classrooms, not just the BLM signs and the LGBT signs, but also the Blue Lives Matter signs, and pretty much made a decision that we're getting back to teaching. We're going to take all these political signs out. Now, I will make mention at the public hearing, the only group that complained about this were the leftists.
Of course.
The leftists screamed bloody murder at this meeting at the school board. And we do applaud the superintendent of Waukesha for holding his ground and saying, no, we're not going to allow those signs in the classroom anymore. So, yeah.
Good. It's that's well, we have hope. Although
Yes.
the school board, and I'm wondering if anybody's going to mount any. I'm not a big fan of recalls because it does take.
A lot of effort.
Well, it does. Elections should matter and that type of thing. But sometimes when you have that much, I guess, dereliction of duty, so to speak, or just such extremism that doesn't belong there, sometimes the parents have to take matters into their hands where they issue recalls, vote. But recalls have consequences because the downside of recalls is empowerment.
Yeah.
That means if let's say one of the liberals survives the recall effort, they're going to be emboldened.
Well,
Just look what
California.
happened. Yeah, just look what happened in California. And this is exactly why I told people last year, do not do a recall against Evers.
Right.
I can't stand up. Oh yeah, but he's demeaning the Constitution. And I was like, fine, vote his ass out in a couple of years. Let's increase our majorities in the Assembly and the Senate. Maybe we can just override his vetoes or something. No, we
Yeah.
got to recall him. And then, so they focus on that for what, 3 months, collecting 2 months, 3 months, collecting signatures for that boondoggle.
Yeah.
And Evers was able to raise a ton of money. And where did they use it? Against President Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Absolutely.
people,
I mean, right. These recalls, I mean, actually, what we have to do is get back to a conservative principle, and that is getting it right when the time is right to get it right, rather than trying to correct our mistakes at a very expensive cost at a time that isn't
right,
right. And I
right.
think the recalls are a tool that need to be used, and sometimes they are worthwhile. But I would agree with you. We probably made a mistake. And I say we, not me, but some made a mistake when they decided to try to recall Evers at the time that they did. However,
Oh yeah.
we know what human nature is all about. People want instant gratification. If they're mad now, they're going to react
Yeah.
now. And that same group that was mad, I hope they show up in November. We need them in November.
Well, apparently they didn't
So
last November.
yeah,
So
who knows? Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Either way, they
we'll
either
find
stuffed
out.
the ballots or found some extras somewhere.
Well,
But
either way, one thing we know for sure, they did change the rules of the game
oh yeah,
in order to win. That was it. Whether there was cheating or no cheating, they changed the rules of the game, and it went unchallenged.
right.
We knew.
And I've got to tell you, we're playing the game under their rules right now, and there's no way we can change the rules unless we win.
Yep.
And I make that very apparent. We're not going to win in a court. We're not going to win the way the Democrats
Nope.
do by finding some way to change the rules without the voters. The only way we will win is convincing swing and conservative voters to show up at every election and win.
And we
It
got
is
to
the
show
only
up.
way.
Yep. That's how we won the recall
Right.
against Walker. And the same, and it just, and it works, yeah, it worked in our favor. Walker had a lot more ability to do things. He unfortunately didn't do everything he could have done in those few more years that he had, but it empowered him and empowered that. Now, there are times when we have to do a recall. Now, one of them is with COVID and everything like that. We had all this money coming in from the federal government to a lot of the school boards. And this group over there called, what are they called? Moms for Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
They are mounting a recall effort against the school board president, Yolanda Adams, down there.
Oh wow.
And
Good.
they're doing it because major fiscal mismanagement.
Mm.
They're actually trying to increase taxes on the taxpayers, yet they got this windfall of money from the federal government and all that stuff, and they're doing that. So in the meantime, the unionites and all the media, left-wing media out there, is out there saying that, oh, the Moms for Liberty is supporting kids walking out of school on the day counting day, where they count all the kids to get their next allotment of pittance or whatever, scraps from the government or whatever, and
Right.
and they're clearly not. And she wrote a press release today. It's in a Wisconsin Conservative Digest. The spokesperson for Moms for Liberty wrote a press release today just talking about this, that they don't support that, because what that does, it hurts all kids. If you lose resources to the school, they wouldn't support that. So, but yet the media is reporting it. So
Sure.
basically, it's she's saying basically it's media malpractice to even perpetuate such lies, because there's
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
baseless. But because one person says it, they publish
We
it.
will always face this issue. We will always face the media lying with the Democrats. We will always face it. How we combat it will be the question,
Well,
right? Ooh, cosmic.
I'm in the Matrix.
Woo! I
Okay.
was, I was, you know, I was getting a little deep there, Paris. You're right. I probably deserve that one. But we will always face this baloney of the media lying about the topic. Of course, tonight, the resolution in Menominee Falls that we were just about. Oh, did we again? Oh, there we are. I
There
got
we are.
stuck for a second. Yeah,
Me
that
too.
resolution that we talked about. The Journal Sentinel didn't report the issue. They talked about Paul Tata and something about back when COVID started, and then Taggart and some comment he made. They focused on the resolution for a short period of time in their story, and then went on to attack personally those two people who authored the resolution, and that is their tactic, and that will always be their tactic. We cannot cry about it anymore because we have to face it and beat it. And I think
Yep.
that's a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing to do because to get called names and to be screamed at, a Waukesha School Board, for example, did back down, not because of our hardcore conservatives, but because of a couple squishies. They'll be dealt with in their own way in the April elections. But the media will never change, at least not anytime soon.
No. And to any Republican legislators that may be watching this, they're never going to like you. So don't
No.
don't try to get the media to like you. Just press forward, do your job, uh, and yeah, we're not going to agree with them 100% of the time. I get that. I know there's little things that happen, and we all have our own personal issues with some leadership in there. But in the end, this is the hand we're dealt. So we got to play this hand, and
Right.
stop complaining about the Democrats are harvesting ballots. Okay, fine. If they're doing it, let's do it. Let's start harvesting ballots. Beat them at their own
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. I think that the game that I think they're playing when it comes to these fake votes, and I say fake because I think there is something going on that they're doing, and there are certain
Oh yeah.
areas they have this capability. I hate to say it. I know you're in Brookfield, but I think they have the capability there. This last school board election, in my opinion, was a example of that. Again, a situation where we were winning until about midnight. Even some of the newspapers reported our candidate had won, and then all of a sudden the liberal won in the morning,
Oh yeah.
and right, just strange things. Now, I don't think any conservative will cry about losing a game in a fair fight. I think the problem is a certain amount of the electorate does not believe we have a fair fight right now, and they don't really seem to care about that.
No.
So we have to win and change some of the rules, and make things a little bit tougher. What I mean by tougher is not tougher to vote. We make it very easy to vote, but we need to make it tougher for cheaters to cheat.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Beyond a doubt that we have to. See, this kind of makes me look like I have a halo. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys, and I apologize for the distractions here and
very
there. This is
fitting.
I'm using a very new, yeah, I'm an angel with horns. No, but I'm using a new platform, and this is, I told Chris I'm not sure how tonight's show will go. So far, it's going good. Knock on wood.
Great.
But
Only one glitch, and it was probably my fault. I don't know. I just froze.
it's all. You got a little shy and you didn't want to come on there. Well, I think this is something, recapping and precapping, if there's such a word. Talk about some of these races and stuff like that. I think it's important. I think this is something we should do more
Everywhere.
often. Get together. I mean, you're definitely in the know, especially Waukesha County. You are the most active Republican county in the state, and there's people that can learn from you guys. I mean, there's only some. I loved it when they had the counts for when the Dan Kelly Supreme Court election. God, do I miss him? He's such a good guy, and then such a phenomenal jurist. No longer on the
Yeah.
court, but anyway, um, the person running the observing of the Milwaukee County votes was someone from Waukesha County. And we had people coming from all over the state. We had two people from Milwaukee County.
Yeah.
I was one of them.
You know, I think that the party, the chairman, Terry Dietrich, has done a great job by investing time in this. He's the first chairman who has done that.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate what Terry has done because that really, you're right. We need to do more of this. I mean, to give you an idea, there are 183 seats up this April in Waukesha County alone. School board members, village board members, town board, down the line, mayors.
Wow.
Right now, we've only identified approximately a little over 200 conservatives out of the entire county. Remember, only half of those are up every year. So there's about 417 seats that are actually elected throughout Waukesha County on a biannual basis. So this year, 183 seats are up. We have recruited about 100 candidates so far for those races.
Oh, wow.
There are about 90, there's more than 100 current elected liberals in Waukesha County still to this day. And though they're representing districts that voted for Trump with 60-70% of the vote. Yet they're representing the citizens of that county in a way that isn't appropriate. So we're just correcting it is what we're doing.
Yeah, you definitely have to match the citizens. I mean, it's not to say that the liberals shouldn't have a seat at the table. Everybody should, because it's, I mean, let's be
Not
real,
out here.
you know, I always
Not
try,
anymore.
I try to be pragmatic, but you know what? Yeah, give them a seat at the table, we'll talk. But
Well, let me put it this way: they deserve a seat if they can win a seat. They
well,
deserve a
no,
seat
no,
if they
I'm
can
not.
win a seat.
Well, exactly. But I mean, they're forcing this agenda about when their own electorate does not want it. Unfortunately, California, it's getting the government they asked for.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are saying, oh, but the cheating, they found one guy with 300 ballots. It doesn't matter. Not enough people showed up to offset the cheating. And they should have realized that before they went forward with the recall. Now Newsom is doubling down on everything. It's
Yeah.
it's very telling.
Yeah.
And Evers would
California.
have done the same damn thing.
Yeah. California is in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, can you imagine when homelessness reaches 25% of the number one issue of voters? But it comes back to this thing that we talk about. There is a flight out of Milwaukee. I'm anxious to see what happens with redistricting. But there has been a flight out of Milwaukee. Milwaukee has lost population. People are leaving the city mostly due to crime, some to opportunity, some to better schools. There's a plethora of reasons, but the fact is the cities are losing population. The suburbs are gaining, but these voters are leaving and still taking their bad voting habits with them. A doctor would say that these voting habits are almost like cancer. They'll spread and they will continue unless we educate the voters as to what really caused them to leave. You can't be a hardcore leftist voter and vote in the city your whole life, ruin it, and then move out to Brookfield and do the same.
Yeah,
And
don't
that's what's
forget.
happening. That's what's happening.
Yeah, and that's what's happening
That's what's
like
happening.
states like Texas for people coming from California. It is. So we gotta educate them. I don't ever try to force someone into my way of thinking. What I do is I give them information. Because if I change their mind today, someone's gonna change their mind tomorrow. But looks like we lost him again. Okay, we'll try to get him back on. I think. Whoa. Okay. Well. Okay. Here he comes. And right. Technical difficulties. It's a live show. I'm trying to get him on. Let's try him on again. Oh well. And at any rate, and he's in the green room. I'm losing him. I must be. Oh, this is unfortunate. Well, we'll keep trying to get him on. Nope, he's not on. We'll have him try one more time. Well, in the meantime, there we are. Okay. Oh, I lost him again. Well, guys, this is a live show. I'm sorry. This is the way it goes sometimes with technology. And I'm wondering if his battery's dead on his phone. Okay. Okay, well, he's sort of there. Hold on. Let's see if we get him. All right, there we go. You're back. See,
I don't know what happened.
I didn't want to lose you
It did the same
because
thing.
yeah, I didn't want to lose you because you are so, and this is why I wanted to have this conversation with Chris Slinker. He really knows his stuff. He's so intelligent about these issues, and I just say he's so intelligent that I actually had to wear my glasses today so I can look smart. I mean, this is it, So this
Thanks.
is why, There, I thought okay. Remember, you owe me $20 for that.
Yeah,
So okay.
don't worry on Venmo. I'll send it PayPal here in a second.
Yeah. So Ed Delgado says he ghosted Milwaukee County back in 2014 because of crime and liberal policies. And that's, I mean, Wauwatosa, same thing. It's turned into Little
But
Sherwood.
you know what, though? I'll make one point. We'll take voters like Ed. If Ed wants to move out here, we'll take him. We need more of those. If the conservative voters leave Milwaukee County and continue to vote conservative out here, we're okay with that.
Well, Ed's not a conservative. He actually hugs trees in real life.
Ooh.
No. And he says, "Oh, that's why you're getting kicked off. The NSA is throwing shade on the show. Love it." So, well, I think I really want to appreciate you. I want to say how much I appreciate you joining me today, and we will.
Yeah.
I think we will definitely have these conversations. There's a lot going on this year, all over the place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not just about talking about races. We can talk about issues. We can talk about stuff that matters to Wisconsin, even national issues, stuff like that. You've got good insight, and you're welcome on the show anytime, or we'll have our own WisRed show or whatever. Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Sounds good. Well, there's always plenty going on. I'm happy to fill you in.
Yeah, I think you should talk to El Delgado about connect with him on Facebook and stuff like that, because he's got a show that he does, and he's up like west of Oshkosh or somewhere way up there. And then, we've got Stace. Well, Sarah's in the Waukesha. Stephanie is, and I keep calling her Stacy. I almost did it again, Stephanie. No, there's Tracy, Stacy. No, but Stephanie, I actually called her Stacy once when she was on my show. Oops. She's actually up in the green, in the Door County area. So there's people that'll come on. But yeah, anything to do get the message out there as well.
I mean, I'll tell you, we've been reached out to by a lot of counties and people asking us to do this there. The truth is, none of us get paid for this. The group that is part of the WisRed group are volunteers. We are passionate about the issue. We work very hard on the issue, but we're not paid for this. And the tough thing is there's a group of about 15 core members of WisRed, and there are six of us on the WisRed Council, and we're all volunteers, and we just can't get everywhere and do this everywhere. But
Right.
what we will do is we would be
Teach
happy if
people.
we could get people who will do this in other places and follow our lead. Amen. We're all over it.
Awesome. Well, Chris Slinker, what's the best way to get a hold of WisRed and get a hold of it?
So the best way is to like WisRed on Facebook. If you aren't on Facebook, you can go to our webpage, which I do not have ready right off the top of my head, but I think it's just wisred.com. I'm not sure. Terry handles that part. Or you can call me or reach out to me on Facebook or my cell, which I'm happy to share. If anybody's interested, feel free to email Paris, and I'm happy to send any information to you.
And I'm looking for WisRed. Let's see if I can find it online. WisRed.com.
Perfect. Easy. I thought that's what it was.
Dedicated
Might
to
not
winning.
be.
Yep, there you are.
All right.
It talks
just so
about
you know,
supporting Barack Obama. No, I'm just kidding.
well, the election, WisRed's webpage is not very descriptive, and that's on purpose. We are not interested in having a lot of information online. We kind of agree with Trump's policy of not playing the playbook right out in the open. But what we are willing to do is come here and talk to you and other people and fill people in on what they need to know and fill them in on the real story and help them so that they can make decisions and they can help in areas that have been ignored for years.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing.
Well, the nice thing that's kind of helpful is the left is no longer running under the radar. They're out there for everybody to see. They're going for broke on this thing. And I was at an event. Dr. Duke Pesta was talking about critical race theory and how it infiltrated everything. And he's a brilliant guy. Look up. I think it's free. Oh God, what is it? Look up Dr. Duke Pesta, Pesta online. Great guy. I'm gonna probably have him on my show as well. But he was doing a Q&A, and this one parent, they were talking. He was talking about you need to, recall school board members if they're pushing this stuff. And like I said, there's a time when you have to do it.
Yes.
And this guy said, "Well, I'm not going to bother. It's not like we're ever going to get them recalled anyway." It's like, I was so ticked off. I got up and I said, "Look, if that's your attitude, then they've already won." I go,
Yeah.
Do you think they infiltrated our schools and our city councils and everything this year? They've been doing this since Woodrow Wilson. That's how long it's taken them to get this.
I would say it's especially gotten worse in the last 20 years.
Yeah,
the last
absolutely.
20 years have been the worst 20 years for conservatives on local boards, and I've watched it. And there are many of us who have been just as dedicated to this cause for the last 20 years, but had to watch and lose and watch and not have the support. What's great about what's happening now is the chairman of the Waukesha County Republican Party jumped on this bandwagon. For years, the Republican Party said they would not get involved with local races. Now they are, and thank God, because I'll tell you, the Democrats have been involved for a long time, and hard when you have they've been involved for a long time, and when you have candidates who are trying to run and be conservative and they're up against a machine without anybody helping them, it's tough to win. And that's why we've created the process that we have created to help these candidates and get them elected and make sure that the story is being told to our voters.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, Chris Slinker, for joining us. I think in the future I got to have your name on underneath you and stuff like that. I got to see, guys, new platform, still figuring it all out. So, cool. All right, Chris. Well, we'll be talking soon. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll definitely have you on again, or you can have me on if you can start a show, and that's anybody can do this. You don't have to get all fancy schmancy with the moving halo.
We'll let you run the show. We'll be the guests.
All right, fair enough. Thank you for joining, and we will talk soon, Chris.
Thanks, Paris. See you later. Bye-bye.
All right. That was Chris Slinker with WisRed, and great organization. Once again, WisRed.com in the Waukesha County area. And we will, they're out there, they're fighting the fight, and everybody can do this in their own areas. Everybody can do this. It's about staying active and getting involved, doing things, even writing letters to the editor. Just hold your school boards accountable. If they feel the pressure, they will cave at some point. I mean, it happened in Wauwatosa. Heather Kuhl felt the pressure when she got uncovered as being the hateful and vindictive far left extremist liberal. We knew, she finally had to quit in shame. It was very telling because people got involved. Send information to me. You can reach me at Wisconsin Conservative Digest. We have info at wcdigest.com. And so you can send it to there. You can send it to me on Facebook. Friend me on Facebook, Paris Procopis. At Paris Procopis on Twitter, and at Paris Procopis on, where else am I? And Tinder. Just kidding. Well, maybe not. But and then there's I'm at Paris Procopis on everything. I'm on Parler, I'm on Gab, and everything like that. But make sure you get on the other social media platforms as well. Get in there. YouTube. I'll be uploading this to YouTube. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Have an awesome night. And remember, get into the fight. If we don't get into the fight, they win. Period. All right? We need to make sure that we don't let them win. And it's going to take some time. We're not going to win every race. WisRed got really close last year, but that's just one area. So remember to join me. I'll be doing my shows probably Wednesday nights coming forward. Not this Wednesday, but once I'll be more consistent on it. And then I'll probably have Chris on about every 2 weeks and go from there. All right? Everybody, thank you so much and have an awesome, awesome night. Bye.